Okay. Joining me now, Mr. Corey Mack. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Doing good, looking great. How you feeling?
Fantastic.
All right, so this
Fantastic.
is the first guest of my show.
Do I need your camera? Do I need to slide over in the shot?
I think I got you. I was looking in the preview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you got your thing set up, it's not exactly what is.
Yeah, it's not exactly what's showing right over there.
You know, there's a setting for that, right?
What's that?
You know, there's a setting for
I did not know. This more educational.
that. I'll teach you. I'll teach you, young fella.
Oh, I love it. All right. So, first question that I have is tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're coming from.
Um, well, let's see. Let's roll
Norland
my
guy.
age.
Yeah.
I'm 47 years old. Left New Orleans at the age of 6. We moved to California.
Oh shit.
Uh, Compton was the first place. We
Compton.
moved in with my dad's cousin, and me and my mom and dad, my brother and sister. No, well, me and my dad and my little brother. Then we moved to Sherman Oaks, then what was it, North Hollywood, Texas,
Okay.
South Carolina, Georgia, back to New Orleans. And the whole time I was traveling in different states, visiting other family members because they traveled a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, Moved back to New Orleans by the time I was like 14.
Hmm.
Graduated high school from there, went to Marines.
Marines.
At the age of 17, turned
Oh my
18 in
goodness.
boot camp.
You do not look like a former Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're much cooler. I've never.
Yeah, everybody was like, yeah, I graduated high school most friendliest.
Friendliest.
Yeah, the friendliest.
How did you choose Marines out of that?
Because I also read comic books,
There you
and
go. There
and
you go.
the Punisher was a Marine.
Because they asked if
And
you wanted to join the Air Force, you said no, I want to join the military.
that's funny. Because you know what? I thought they flew airplanes. I was like, I'm not flying airplanes.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought the Navy was just like ships. And I was like, I'm not really interested in that. Um, and a couple of relatives I have were in the army, and I was like, well, how fucking easy? How hard could that be?
Not.
It
It's
didn't
not.
really hit me as like
From experience.
it's badass. It didn't hit me
No,
as like bad. So I know it's bad. Every branch service got badass people. I'm not saying that now I know, but at the time I was like, well, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to go to college. And I didn't do like acting stuff. I played sports in high school, and I mean I joked a lot all the time. Um, so anyway, I was like the funny dude in the Marines
there you go.
also. So yeah,
Okay.
while I was in, I ended up going to a lot of comedy shows because my last duty station was in Long Island, New York. So I was going to comedy nights anywhere from places in Manhattan.
While active duty?
While I could do it, I was going
Really?
like I would because we get tickets to stuff or we do show we do like honor guards in the city a lot. And then if I'm off, there were times like when I found out there was like you can go see live comedy shows, but I was like obsessed.
Hmm.
And then like I always like sitting in the front row because comics, they would always talk. I liked to interact with them.
Right.
I'm not a person with low self-esteem where I'm like, so like I would banter with them and then they'd be like, yo, you're kind of funny, man. And because I always want to be the person to not like I wouldn't say shit to them like hey, look at me. I would just know that they're gonna say something,
Right.
because I sit in the front, like smack dab in the front.
And by the way, from what I've learned, I fucking love when people are like that. Like
Yeah.
be like interacting, but interacting in a way that's helping your act, not in a way
Yeah.
that's like destroying it.
Or you're like a dentist.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's no fun. That's no fun.
Yeah.
So
What year was this?
this dude, okay, when was 9/11? 2000.
What's that?
9/11 was 2000.
Yeah, 2001.
2001.
Mhm.
So this was like 97,
97 in New York.
97.
Do you remember any of the comedy clubs that you used to
Oh,
go to?
absolutely. Because first it was like New York Comedy Club. It was the Comic Strip,
Comic strip.
and,
All right.
and watch how the story comes full circle with this. Um, there was a place called Nagasaki out in Long Island that I would go to like every week. And they would have comedians that I'd seen on like, or currently seen on like BET's Comic View,
Yeah.
or ones that I saw on Def Comedy Jam, or even some that I had saw on like Annie's comedy shows and MTV's comedy half hour. That was like back in the 90s, earlier 90s actually for that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I used to really just love watching. Anytime I see stand-up comedy, I'd lock in or find out where it was at, even on TV. So anyway, um, at some point in time, they were like, yo, everybody was over, not at some point in time. Everybody was like, yo, you need to be a comedian. You need to be a comedian. And all the spots I named, I actually ended up performing there,
No shit.
and I ended up getting a little internship thing going over at the New York Comedy Club
There
for
you go.
about 6 months. That was about 2 years after I got out the Marines, or a year after I got out the Marines.
Is it because you made any relationships while you were attending when you were in active duty, or you just
I
came out
didn't.
there and applied?
I just okay. By the time I got to perform in those places, after I got out the Marines, I had like, kill yourself, bro.
You go.
I after I got out, even actually while I was in, actually, I'm lying, I almost messed the story up. I got on the stage first at the Nagasaki place because I finally got the courage to be like, I think I want to try this. So I tried it there, and I did like one funny joke, but I didn't realize how long 3 minutes was, and I didn't have nothing after that. I was like, I don't know why I thought that joke was gonna take 3 minutes. She was done in like 20 seconds.
Did you at least get a laugh?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It was funny. Yeah, it was totally funny. I had a big ass laugh, and then everyone's like waiting on the next thing, and I was like, oh my god, that was like 20, 30 seconds. So like, you know, and everybody have a good night. I got the hell off the stage. So
Note for you younger comics just like me, if you're done with your shit, get the fuck out. You don't have to use all the time they give you. You're just gonna make a good impression turn into a bad impression.
yeah, it's like having sex and you
Keep
come.
going in soft.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. It's like, you better, if you can't shake it up and get it hard right quick,
Oh my god.
get your ass out of it.
That first 2 minutes meant nothing after that. Yeah.
It is harder the longer you be in it to just get your ass off stage if a joke doesn't go well.
You
If you're killing it, you can get off it's easy to get off the stage when you're crushing it. If you do a joke that like kind of like this is your your last thing, you're like, man, I just did like 35, 40 minutes of crushing it, and then this last thing was like lame. It's like, well, get ready for another 15 minutes of lame because I need to leave on a big laugh. It doesn't always go your way. You can't anyway.
Especially when you know it deserves more.
Oh, absolutely.
When it's killed other places. You're like, what the fuck's wrong with you guys?
Especially been killing, if you've been killing that set, like that's killing, and then all of a sudden your closer. It just like should have been your opener. Or not done at all.
Oh my
God. It's like it's a chuckle and you're like, huh, okay. Like that joke is whatever. Yeah.
So small confession that I have to make for you. So I've been doing comedy maybe spanning a couple of years, but altogether about a year.
Okay.
First time I saw you, you were doing a show at Secret Sagittarius for BTB. So that's the first time I saw you. Or it was the mic before that, actually.
Okay.
And that was the first time since I've been doing comedy where I saw somebody perform and I was like, okay, that's the level you got. All right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like a
I'll take that. Thank you.
it was an intimidating moment, and but I'll get around. So I was at first intimidated, and then I remember thinking to myself, okay, if I'm gonna get to that level, I gotta one, work harder, and two, find because I'm never gonna be able to do the way that you do your shit. It's your shit.
Right.
But I'm gonna have to find my own way to be that good. Do you have a memory like that when you were growing up and coming up through the scene as a young comic? And do you remember any kind of comics that kind of stood out to you like that challenged you to be better?
Dude, that's why I'm like, the truth is it took me so long to get on stage because everybody that I had seen on television, and by the time I started live, I thought they were so hysterical that I was like, I think I just want to be an actor, or I'm a funny acting guy.
So it was a sense of like you can't.
Well, I didn't ever think I would be that fun. I did not think I would even like it was one of those like things to be like, yeah, it'd be cool to be a comedian, but then like when actually seeing it live, and the laughs like that I was giving, I was like, man, I would be hurting, dude. So I was like, man, I make people laugh and hurt like that when we hanging out. I was like, I don't know if I could do that up there. And then I'm like, I just didn't think I could do it. So, but all my homies, they kept telling me like, cause they were coming to the shows too.
Okay.
Watching them with me. And they were like, man, you funnier than half these motherfuckers. Like they would talk like that to me. So they kept like building me up in my spirit, like really encouraging me. And I'd always met people that said you should be a comedian. But everybody says that about anybody that says two things that are funny.
Right. If you meet him for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, yeah, and then you're like, yeah, but you should be a comedian,
Right.
you know. But dude, like I ended up with such an appreciation for it, I think, that I just wanted to like it went from wow, I'd like to do it to oh no, I can't do that. It's like watching a basketball player, you know, you 5'2",
Right.
100 pounds. You're like, oh, okay, man, I can't do that. And then of course there's Spud McKenzie, Muggsy, Spud Webb and Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah.
Spud McKenzie, Muggsy.
Yeah, I got
Mixed too short.
Yeah, you know, you'd think you mixed two players together and they'd be like one giant. That's the same player. You mix Spud Webb and Muggsy Bogues, it's still
too short for the NBA as their average player. Yeah, dude. So they people just like that really hit me, and I just kept clowning, and then like I said, I jumped up there, did the little joke, and here's what's funny. I didn't want to do anything after that because I was like, man, I don't have any, I don't have anything. I didn't know, like, I just didn't really think of material.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of being just saying funny things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like, I ain't messing with this. I'm just gonna watch it, bro. The next time I got on stage, it was because I was at a show with this lady called Gladys, who does a show in New York still. It's called Gladys. She does an open mic show. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That shows you the love for comedy just in general. They're still doing the same shit. I mean,
I'm sure that show's still in existence. I'm pretty sure it does. I know she's still in existence because I've seen her name within the last year or two, like on something and doing something. So anyway, her spot, I went to a show at the comic strip, and she was like interacting with me in the front row, and then she's like, yo, you should come to my open mic. You're pretty funny, you know, good look. I was like, funny, good looking guy. I was like, so then I was like, you know, I was like, really? Yeah. So now I'm like, boom, I'm in, right? So then I go to the mic, and I do like 5 minutes, and she's like, wow, you're funny.
Prepared material or?
Watch this. So everybody's like, wow, you're funny. You should keep doing this. And I'm like, cool. So then I find out about the open mic over at the comic strip. And I'm like, all right, I go over there. And I do three minutes, I think. And everybody's laughing, everybody's clapping. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to get on.
Yeah.
Bro. Chris Rock's brother was on that show. And he walks up to me and he goes, hey, man, all that shit you did like 3-4 different comedians' jokes, bro. And I was like, now, mind you, this was before Carlos Mencia and the internet was a thing that people went to. Remember what year I told you this was?
You can't just look up everybody. You can't just.
Well, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Well, let me say it right. I watched so much comedy that there had been points in time where I have seen different comedians doing jokes that I remember, like jokes, like even stock jokes. And then some people's stuff overlaps. Now, I'm not telling you that I did, like, I know that's what I did, but I didn't think of it as like joke stealing.
Right.
I never heard that term ever.
Right.
That wasn't a thing that people spoke on or spoke about. It was, you understand what I'm saying? So when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, so I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I should not be doing this shit.
Oh,
and
no.
I just was like, nah, I'm not touching this shit. Left it be. I get out the Marine Corps. I end up selling cars for about a month, and then I get a job working as a personal banker. I do that for about a year, and I get a job working for my ex-wife's uncle in Plattsburgh, New York.
Okay.
20 minutes from the Canadian border. So I go from Long Island to there. Okay. I'm up there, Mr. Funny Man. Everybody thinks I'm hilarious. I get a book, not doing comedy.
Right.
Just I see a book called The Comedy Bible in a bookstore, and the book is like 50% off on a rack right in front of the bookstore. Bro, I don't buy books. I bought comic books, I don't buy books, bro. I saw that and was like,
God's telling you something.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I read the book. I get inspired while I'm out there. Quit the job, bro. And I end up moving to some buddies of mine crib, basically in Long Island area. And I'm bouncing back from some Marine buddies, places of mine, and I just try to go to the mics. And dude, make sure I get this story correct, because this I haven't told this shit in so long, dude. Just because 20 years now. Yeah, damn, yeah, it's definitely 20 years. So here we go.
Reminder again that this man is not the 25 years old that he was.
Oh, yeah, right.
20 years ago, he was not 5 years old.
Yeah, dude. You're like, dude, so whoa, more than 20 years ago. We're talking 20. Holy shit.
Jeez.
Whoa, see how time does, bro? So, okay, so, I end up having to move from, and by the way, I'm actually pretty humorous at this point.
Okay.
Actually, I got a couple of jokes. I got a couple of jokes. I started writing, actually. Started writing this shit down. And anytime somebody would laugh really hard at something I said when I know I was trying to be funny, not just like you just talking and you know, sometimes somebody says something that can amuse you. Bro, I was writing everything down, and then I was able to take that shit and then easily translate it and transfer it over when I got on the stage.
Okay.
But I couldn't afford to live in New York. And I also started listening to a lot of stand-up comedy. Like, I was illegally downloading shit on Napster.
Napster.
Or something like that. One of those things, LimeWire, BearShare. And I was listening to stuff.
I used to tell my girls, when my girl, she came over like, bro, this song's about to set the mood in 7 hours.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So, dude, I was like listening to it a lot. But I couldn't afford to live there. I had a little job that I was like working on, little temp agencies.
Yeah.
And moved back home to New Orleans. When I moved to New Orleans, I found out very quickly about the mics and stuff that they had there. And when I went there, everybody was like, who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah.
Because I don't sound like anybody from New Orleans, even though I was from there. So when I started doing jokes, one of my earliest things was, I know I don't sound like I'm from here. I said, and I would tell my quick story, blah, blah, blah. I said, but my mom's, you may have even heard that joke. I said, she's project, like, you know, and I just started bantering with the audience. And then, of course, I could beatbox and make sounds and all of that stuff. So I would just be intertwining all of that stuff. And then, like, everybody would, like, get me on the shows.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, dude, I ended up meeting, like, Red Bean and all those guys. And they were like, yo, you should go to Hollywood. And I was like, I don't know about that yet. Just want to get good at, I really want to be really good at my craft. Go ahead.
It's funny to hear somebody that you've seen as a comic fan that you've seen perform where in front of 4 disinterested drunk people just where it turns into a fucking great show. Speak about a point when they weren't confident. It's a swell moment for me.
Because I didn't know how to translate it initially. Like, I didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what I was doing. Now I know what I'm doing. Does that make sense?
Are you saying you got the confidence from just doing it and succeeding? There wasn't like a click in your head about changing? There's been a few clicks for me.
Well, see, I'd already been practicing being a funny person. So I knew I was a funny person.
You just weren't able to translate
it to right. And what it was is I didn't feel comfortable enough, realistically, if I'm being completely honest, too, not just not thinking about it and like writing jokes and thinking of stuff like that, but there was also like, maybe it's hand in hand because I didn't do that part or really think about it, but the lack of confidence didn't allow me to just be like I would be at a party.
Yeah.
So like now I do at a party, like I would like when I MC, like I basically just get a mic and then I just go.
Full disclosure, if you fucking say you don't have confidence now, you're the biggest lie I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I'm good now. Oh yeah.
But like, when did you get over that?
Well, you know what? It went
Is it just the old adage of there's nothing that can replace stage time, and then the more time you're on stage, the more
Somebody might
people-
have started off when they first hit the stage as pure confidence
yeah,
and never look back.
yeah,
I do believe there's that.
yeah.
I do truly believe there's that
There's
because I've
stories
seen
that-
enough people.
Mhm.
I've seen enough comedy now live for 25 years now.
25 years.
Woo!
Let that sink
Live.
in. Let that sink in.
Live.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw Kevin Hart when he was called Lil Kevin 25 years ago.
Dude, I
So when
love
people say like he's an industry plant, I'm like,
No.
I saw that. That was one of the people that I saw live, and I was like, man, I can't make people laugh like that.
he started off right off the and then like it
No,
wasn't
like,
just
I mean, I don't know how long he was doing it before I saw him, but I'm telling you that I saw the man 25 years ago, and by the time I saw him famous
Mhm,
or pop, not even he wasn't even famous still. He just started popping up and stuff,
mhm.
and nobody was saying his name. I was like, oh, but I had already been seeing a lot of comedians like that,
Yeah.
where I had already saw them, bro, in the early 90s, because I watched, like I said,
Eddie
um,
Griffin.
like,
Before
dudes,
that.
you don't even know who these, like, well, they were during that time, but they were on things that were like, well, like, think of Heart of the City
Mhm.
shit, but 25 years ago. And there was always something on some network with some 30-minute comedy show.
Yeah.
Not just HBO stuff either, not just Showtime, but like the other cable channels. That's when like MTV had a 30-minute comedy show, bro. They'd have like 6 comics sometimes on that show.
Yeah.
So, and I remembered, and that's why it was funny that's why I was able to, that's why I got in trouble initially when I clicked over to be like, okay, just do what you've seen done, like do what you've seen people do, like
Yeah.
do some of that. And then of course, like, yeah, I put my spin on it, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't doing their premise. That's 100% their premise.
Right.
And that's not cool.
That's
I
not
get that.
that's not how you do it.
Like, yeah, and I completely understand that now,
Right.
to the point where like, dude, I went, by the way, I went on a hiatus once I started really getting into comedy and started
Yeah.
getting gigs over at the Funny Bone AAA in the, damn, I can make me skip a whole story. I know there's something I was saying earlier.
We'll get back. I'll keep it. I got you. Keep going though.
So, by the time I was there, dude, and that was back when I was like maybe 29 years old,
Mhm.
29 years old to 30 years old, because that's right before I met my wife when I was just turned 30. So,
That does speak highly of your character though, because a lot from what I can tell, I mean I've seen it a couple of times where there's a young comic doing stuff, he's trying to be funny, and they start using shit they've seen on TV. And even when you tell them, they still use it like I
yes,
saw
you
this
know
guy.
better now,
Yeah.
because everybody, like, the truth is, you know,
The fact that you like took a hiatus on that, like that's
yeah, because I didn't know what I was like, nah, because that's what I understood.
I
I understood what I was being told.
yeah. I
I
saw a
didn't
guy
get
do
defensive or nothing. I was like, I was
Exactly.
genuinely like, like, fuck, dude.
I saw a guy do
Like, I wasn't
literally-
mad or nothing. I just went, oh, this is not. So again, yeah, this ain't my art form. So,
I saw a guy do literally 5 minutes of D.L. Hughley from the original Kings of Comedy. Bro, that's like one of the biggest specials. Like, you don't think anybody's seen that shit?
bro, I see so many people now where I'm like,
I love D.L. Hughley.
I've opened for him.
Yep.
And that motherfucker looked at me when you ain't one of mine, is you? You fucking better not be, motherfucker.
All right, so back to getting over the hump. So,
Um,
so was it stage time? Was it practice?
I would
Was it-
say it was definitely stage time.
Stage
Being
time?
so comfortable, being comfortable. Being comfortable, not getting a laugh.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Keep going.
And when I like it changed how like I could breathe on stage.
Yeah.
It wasn't like running uphill, there was always an excitement, even when I don't think I was as nervous, but like before I would get on stage, bro, I used to have to be like it was like before I would play, like go and run track or playing a football game,
Yeah.
bro, for like 2 years to get the nerves, the nervousness. I was like, I was bouncing, but then I got the nerves out, but then I would still be like, then I'm just like, yo, I'm ready, like woo, now, bro, I'll be at the bar, dude. I'll be like, man, let me get you get a drink and like, Corey Mack, people clap. I'm like, yeah,
I used to do that
walk
too.
up and just get into my thing, you know, even like move the mic or something, like not rush into trying to be funny, but
Yeah.
be me, and then hit the gears when I want to hit the gears, but not hit the gears because I'm like, it's like it's been 5 seconds. It's been 5 seconds.
Nobody's laughing.
Like it doesn't sound the same anymore. And of course, I don't generally go long periods of time without laughs per minute, unless there's one moment where you completely see me setting something. I'm setting something up.
Right.
But even within that minute, if I'm really setting it up, I'm probably going to say something humorous at least, if not a bit, at least trying to say something really funny to humorous before I get to the point.
Right. Do you like when young comics are coming up and they're trying to send like audition tapes and stuff, is it important to make sure that you're getting that like industry standard 12 seconds per laugh? You just do what you do. Like if you've got a really good joke that takes a little bit longer to set up, is that still okay? Or is that something that you should concentrate
like a recording? Well,
just in general.
Well, okay. So like when I send out if I send something to someone to book me, I send them a, like the 5 or 10 minute, usually whatever they're asking for, set. And those sets are the laughs. I haven't counted them, but the laughs are coming.
They're back.
Yeah, the laughs are coming a lot.
What you're saying about getting hyped, I did the same shit. I remember this guy Jacob Marshall. He said, "Bro, it's not a football game." before I go out there, I'd be like, "Yeah, bro, yeah." And then every time somebody comes, "Oh, you're killing it, killing it," I'm like, "Bro, you're not going out and tackling somebody. Stop it."
But it felt that way when I got off the stage and people were like, "Yo, you funny." And then, have you seen Howard Hall?
I don't know.
You got to see him, man. That's one of my homies. We came up together, and by the way, to go to show you how to go from, just to recap on the knowing, like if I don't steal jokes. If I hear somebody say something funny and I think of something that has something to do with their joke, I genuinely walk up to that comedian if they're or I just let it. I just be like, fuck. I laughed at what I thought about and just let it go.
Yeah.
And walk up to them and I'd be like, dude, when you said such and such, you made me think blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I think you should probably, if you want, you should probably use that bitch. And then there'll be a moment usually where if I'm like confident to talk to that person about that and I get to see their vibe, like, hey, I'm going to use it, or they're like, that's when I might have a moment like, okay, so then can I take that thing there then?
Right.
And I use that piece, and I said, I won't be fucking with your premise or nothing, but that piece got me thinking of something completely separate then.
Right.
And I'll have that moment with the comedian face to face. As far as watching it on TV, now, dude, I try to honestly, it's so weird. I went maybe 10 years not watching any stand-up on television, nobody should. Because, one, there were too many times where I guess my earlier, let me say it right, all of the people who had influenced me, their cadence, see, I'm going to use very important wording here, their cadence and persona may have entered into my soul and my thought process, and I may have then written jokes like I was them.
Right.
Okay.
So
the influence, like people would walk up and say like, yo, you don't remind me of, even I didn't steal their jokes, but theoretically, I guess I understood what was happening is that it still like felt like when people would compliment me, they were complimenting like, yo, you remind me of, you don't remind me of. But then I was like, so then there were like moments where I was like, yo, I don't want to remind them of like.
So I have the same thing. So sometimes when I'm writing a joke and I'm telling it to myself on how I'm going to tell it in stage, one of the ways that I'll go about to make sure that it's in the right cadence is I'll say it in like, okay, when I say this joke in my head, it's going to be Louis C.K.'s voice, or it's going to be Anthony Jeselnik's voice, or it's going to be whoever. And then when I tell it, do you consider that, is that okay to do?
I'm gonna tell you where I'm going. Like,
yeah, because I feel like it's kind of the same thing you're talking.
Well, see, it's okay. the influence when you see Bruno Mars singing, if you don't think that's Michael Jackson, or if you don't think Usher's Michael Jackson, or if you don't think Eddie Murphy was Richard Pryor, then you're crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm only telling you that I wasn't trying, I don't believe I was trying to do it as much as it just, they would enter, by the time I understood what people were saying, like they're like, it weren't just like saying that I reminded them of a comedian. They were very specific, and it was very specific people that they were saying it about. And I was like, you know what? Yes,
Yeah.
that person they are an influence on me. Okay, so how do I break free from their influence on me?
Okay.
So it's reached a point now where anybody that's ever watching me will always, they're not going to tell you I remind you of me of anybody. This is the only thing that I've had happen in the last couple of years. I had something that happened to me with social media.
Okay.
And I told that exact same story. Another comedian walked up and he goes, bro, I know you. I know you don't joke steal.
Right.
Plus, I know what you're talking about. He said, and I know you didn't watch this shit. But dude, you don't even know, bro. Like, I saw Dave Chappelle's stand-up special. You have no, bro, you sounds just like his thing. Bruh, I went and watched the special. And I went, this is exactly why I don't be wanting to watch this shit. And I went, oh, fuck.
But then you don't have nothing to worry.
And I didn't worry about it. That's why if I feel like telling that story, I'll tell that story. I don't give a shit. But see, here's a cool thing, is that I have 25 years of comedy now.
Yeah.
So I don't need that story. I don't need that story. That story, I thought it was a great story that night I told when I told it. It was really funny. But that's why through the years of experience, when I now understand that there's even a comedian on stage, and I know this motherfucker didn't see me. I know they didn't see me, bro. I know they never seen me before. And I'm like, and I'll look at Ina, she'll wifey be at the show, or maybe even another comedian, and they'll be like, and I'll be like, that's not my joke though.
Yeah.
That's not my joke. I'm like, I know, but that's not. And I went, that's parallel thinking. And I'll say that to them because, and this is why I brought up Howard Hall. Bro, this dude, people had said, this is another thing, when comedians had saw me and saw him, they would go like, yo, you know the rhyme master today, Howard Hall, bro, you guys are very similar. Bro, we was on the same show, that motherfucker went up before me. Bro, I'm telling you, I had like 8 bits I was gonna do. I scratched out 4 of them. It was so close. And I was like, so there is parallel thinking. There's also, we're influenced. We have, even, and by the way, I'm like 10 years older than this dude. So it's not like we really grew up, but we are still black dudes. We grew up in the black communities, even though it was 2 different black communities. We still liked enough of the same type of stuff where we watched the same shit. So yeah, ultimately there's some parallel there. There's some runover. Of
course,
you see 2 fat people get on stage, I highly
probably going to talk about pizza.
somebody goes, this is gonna be what it is.
Yeah.
But like even our clever, creative, spirited jokes, where it's like he's talking about a video game. Why the hell do I have a video game joke? Like,
right.
And it's like he's doing a theme song and I'm doing something else in reference to how it makes me think of the hood or something, whatever it is. But the point is that it's like, oh God, wow.
The thing is though, is that if you're like, people don't go to see comedians because of one joke that they really like. They go to see him because they like the comedian. And there's a million billion things to talk about. So if you got something similar to somebody else that you can easily drop, like if you're always writing,
that's why it's not a problem. That's why I said even early on, and this was 20 years ago, plus years ago now. I just scratched him out and I walked up to him. I was like, bro. And by the way, we've been friends ever since, dude. We've done so many shows together, and in past years, dude. Like he's usually actually one of the first 5 people that I'll call usually when there's a new venue that I have, and they got me a nice little budget, and I'm like, okay, I want to bring in somebody that I really know that they got jokes where I want them. I'm like, bro, do this joke. Like I got favorite jokes for them. I want the crowd to hear it, even if he's got like whole new hours and hours and hours of jokes. But I still want to hear some of the jokes I heard.
Yeah.
On top of whatever he's done,
That's good.
So again, where I found myself, one is in my experiences, and the it's it it's easier to not worry about that as much when I just tell my experiences.
Right.
Or
Nobody can steal jokes about you if you
like,
life.
yeah, and if
Yeah.
and if I'm telling my story, my story, um, in full detail, it's going to be highly unlikely that, like, yeah, again, there's going to be some maybe runoff details that may interlock with other people's existence. That's kind of why we're talking.
Mhm.
Um, we're using the same language.
Mhm.
Therefore, we're on the same planet.
Hey, that's
I'm going to use a sentence that I want you to understand. So I'm going to word it in a way that may be colorful, but you may get it so another artist may do the same.
right.
Yes, I do believe that's absolutely a thing because I watched it happen. Me and Howard didn't know each other.
Mhm.
There wasn't any way
Right.
that that could have happened.
Okay.
There wasn't somebody else who saw me and then Howard and then they stole my joke and then Howard stole that joke from them and then me and him just happened to be on the same show.
Right.
No, it, I know it didn't happen that way. Okay, so I do know though when I did take stuff from other people, and again, that is never my intentions as a comedian.
Of course.
Now, um, to be influenced by other people, that's not crazy to have happen. I would try to find my own voice.
Mhm.
But I understand if you're saying like, oh, I wonder if it'd be funny. Like, let me see if this is funny or if it's just you. And maybe, like
Right.
if that works for you, do whatever the hell you got to do like that if that works for you. Again, when I started making some bucks with it, though, I think, and I started feeling like I was a comedian. I'm going to say that too. Sorry if I said the bucks part
You're right.
first, but feeling like I'm a comedian, like people, like other comedians call me a comedian.
Right.
People that I think are hilarious, the headliners that I was opening for, they were like, "Yo, you funny, man." And I'm like, "Hey, yo, like come either either come open for me or like, yo, don't put that fucker on up
Before me or
before
something.
me
Yeah.
again.
That.
Don't put him on that show because he's gonna fucking make me have to change up my complete
Uh-huh.
first 20 minutes to catch the fire from this little asshole who really literally buttered up the stage,
Yeah.
with the idea that I'm gonna make this asshole work."
Right.
But also impressive
Which is
too.
good.
Yeah,
Everybody
like
gets
impressive.
better.
Yeah, of course.
I still feel weird when I call myself a comedian to people, so I totally understand.
Took years, bro. People
Yeah.
were telling me to, bro. I don't think I called myself a comedian until like called myself one. I would say I'm going to do comedy.
Mhm. I say that too.
I would say
Most
go
things I
do
say
it. Go
that,
and
yeah.
do it. And I'm very, very, very specific because now I don't even say just do comedy. You might see me say have a comedy show or perform stand-up comedy. Like I even now will try to be very aware of the wording, the way that I present it when I'm typing it out. Because I'm like, what the fuck am I mean? Am I doing comedy? No, nigga, you got a show, motherfucker.
I might have jumped the gun, man. I used to have this thing where
No, you say it, say it.
I'm getting this. Somebody used to be like, "Hey, you going to do a comedy show? So you're a comedian." And I used to be like, "Well, I'm getting into the blah blah blah." Now it's like, "Oh, I'm doing a comedy show. Oh, you're a comedian? Fuck yeah, I'm a comedian, bitch. What the fuck? Why would you even ask that shit? Did you not hear me telling you I was on a comedy show? What does that mean to you?" And they're like, "Bro, I just asked the question." But just get my confidence out. Don't worry about it.
I got you, dude.
All right, so for younger comics, what's something you notice a lot about people getting into it now, where there's pitfalls to it by being a comic in today's standards?
Um,
Like, is it
I think they can become the king of their either the king of their open mic.
what do you mean by that? Like they're
Of
trying.
their open mic, like they just go to this one open mic
I see what
and
you're saying.
I guess present a I don't know if I'm making up something. I think which more of the thing, I guess, if I was going to give any advice as pitfalls, it would be going an open mic to just make buddies and not work on your material.
Yeah. Okay.
Some people are going to the open mic. Uh, it's like Dungeons and Dragons for them.
I see.
They
It's a
don't know
social
that-
outlet.
Yeah, it's a social outlet,
Yeah.
and that's There's nothing wrong with that because those are fans of comedy
Mhm.
also. And
Best
those
fans of
people,
comedy are other
my
comedians.
wife used to say that all the time. I
Yeah.
was like, she's like, what do you think doing on the book? And I was like, yo, no shit.
Yeah.
So, oh, you stole it from my wife.
She's not here. It doesn't count.
So, um, work on your, like, go there to work on your jokes, and you can always be social to make friends.
Mhm.
You know, like that's inevitable,
Right.
especially if you're funny.
But
Everyone's going to want to be your friend if you're funny.
so making friends as other comedians shouldn't be the main focus. Like it should like your main focus should still be your act.
Yeah.
If you want to get to the next level.
Yeah. If you want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to be a comedian, you know, work on your act. I think they can be a little distracting though at times because they may not be there for that purpose. So they could get with someone who wants to be one.
Mhm.
And if they, that's where I was going. So if they may have been there like 6 months, they're going to see somebody else and then start giving them advice.
Yeah. Which
And,
like
and that's weird to me because like even as I'm talking to you, I'm like, I don't know about advice
I think
as much as this is what I do.
yeah.
Motherfuckers, everybody got to do what they do, and this is how like how do I even feel? I'm like, how about what you do whatever you do. I was like, I can only really truly feel how I feel about it. I think what I do, and I do mean that with comedy,
Right.
like so but if I was gonna be like see something that I'm like a little like cringy, I guess, to kind of answer that question on something like advice-ish
Uh-huh.
would be like go there, work on your go there like with some material that you want to work on. And if you don't have anything that you want to work on that night, sit your ass in the audience and let somebody else do that time. Donate your you ready? Donate your 3 minutes. If you ain't got nothing, donate your 3 minutes and then be a friend.
Right. But it's
Be a
not
friend.
like it's not like if you don't have any like if you have something to work on could mean whatever it means to you at that point.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
It could be
having
the same
something
damn joke.
Yeah, it could be the same joke that you're trying to find the right cadence for, you're trying to find the right transition.
New York's just 5 minutes, bro.
Or
5 minutes a year.
It's the next joke that you're trying to do.
5 minutes a year in New York is what I used to hear back in the day.
There you go.
Work on that same 5 minutes for a year. After 10 years, now you're ready for an hour.
Mm. I don't subscribe to that line of
Hey, but you hear what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
And you know what? Not a lot of comedians really do have 20 minutes.
Yeah. A lot of comedians say that
They say they have 20 minutes. So you know what? I brought them on my shows.
feel
And I'm
first-
saying, no, you don't. I'm like, woo. So also, like they look like they're opening the paper. So what else is going on? You're like they doing the like that's why people are trying that crowd work shit now because they don't have no freaking jokes.
I feel personally attacked by you on this.
Let's
line.
throw it out
I was just kidding.
Because you know what's funny? Because I didn't have enough material when I first started, but then when I started having material, I used to get mad when I'd have to stop my in the middle of a bit to address somebody.
Yeah.
That's why I'd be so vicious. Because I was legit mad. I'd be
You wanted
legit,
to get to your shit.
yeah, I'm trying to do my joke. Like, motherfucker, I got material. I didn't come here to see you.
Yeah.
I'm the star. Like I've been working like this is a 5-minute bit, and this bit's doing a whole bunch of stuff. This motherfucker just gonna get up in the middle of my you're just gonna get up in the middle of this joke. I'm not done. I don't care if you about to shit your pants.
Sit your ass down. Listen to the
Sit
rest
your
of this fucking
shitty
bit.
ass down.
Laugh, get your drink, then go to the bathroom. Not
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I was just gonna get a drink. You better be thirsty, motherfucker. Distracted and shit. So, just recently, only because I've been seeing everybody do this crowd work thing, and I'm like, I mean, I can fucking crowd work, but I ain't fucking. If that's the thing, then I was like, I guess I can just do 3 jokes that I have and do 45 minutes of crowd work. Is that what we're doing? Okay. Now I have written jokes where I pretended that I just wrote it on the spot, which is what I kind of try to do.
Yeah.
Present that idea to the audience
Uh-huh.
that
Do you
this is new, even if it isn't new. Sometimes it is, but
do you have jokes that require crowd participation, like where it's supposed to look like crowd work?
yeah, that's what I'm
That's what
saying.
you're saying? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you about. So, I saw at the Senior Frogs show that you did that we went to do that together. There was this lady sitting in the back, and you were talking about twerking. She did not want to go on stage and twerk. She had no intention of going on stage to do twerking. She didn't want you to see her, notice her. What happened? She eventually got on stage and twerked because, from what I can tell, there was no other choice. You gave her no other choice.
There's no options.
There's no option. How do you do that? Because from my point of view, if I'm looking up and I need somebody's audience participation, no, you want to participate? Okay, we're never going to talk to you again ever. Please don't remember I asked you that. That's not how you you look at people where you're like, all right, you're getting involved. You just don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
Because I need them. That's why it's good.
Right.
It's like sometimes I would think I had a knack for picking the right person, which sometimes I do pick like 75% of the time.
Mhm.
I think I pick like
The right
the
one.
guy. I'm like, because I saw them.
Yeah.
They wanted me to see them prior to the damn show. I saw them. I saw how they were responding to everything and everybody. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be great to get this.
Yeah.
But then there are times where I'm doing a thing and then it occurs to me I want to get someone for something.
Yeah.
That's the 25% of the time where I'm panning or I just panned, and then I go, you look like a candidate. I didn't really assess them.
Right.
That's when I become, and my wife and other people have said this, it's like I'm a hypnotist.
Hypnotist or street pimp. That's
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I literally watched her walk up like
It's the same thing.
I would have felt so awkward. You walked all the way back to the back of the room. You grabbed her by the arm, like, "Hey, let's go."
Let's go.
She eventually ended up on that.
Yeah.
I loved that. That was the most amazing thing I saw that whole night.
That's what I do, bro.
Hell yeah.
That I developed that.
So don't ever fucking tell me you have like this. Listen, do you see how weird it is to hear you say that you didn't have confidence? Thank you. I'm such a baby with this stuff.
So this is what it actually looks like.
Look at me, I'm learning.
Do you have a GoPro?
commercial for
I'm actually the guy that teaches other people how to use their equipment when
Yeah.
it comes to this and drones.
This is drones. Wait, what? For real drones? What do you use
Like-
drones for?
Well, me and wifey went on when COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a bunch of travel videos and I was like, babe, you do a bunch of cool shit. And I'd already been experimenting with GoPros and we were doing like parkour type stuff, not like jumping off of roofs as much as like more of the training and jumping on stuff
Okay.
and over stuff, not off of stuff. You understand that statement? More climbing
So
than jumping off of the things that we may have climbed on.
yeah, because you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was at the camera for stuff like that, and then to help like get some really cool footage of wifey and of course us doing stuff. But then of course, you know how YouTube works. If you look up stuff or you're learning something, then you end up in the world of say like cinematography and videography
Yeah.
and sound and all that. And then of course they go from there very quickly to here are other ways to improve your travel videos. And then of course it's drones. And when I saw that, I got a drone. It's like a $500 DJI drone. And my wife was like, what the fuck you want a drone for? She's like, that's stupid. Like she don't ever say that about nothing, bro, that I do, dude. She saw herself, dude, we did something and she saw herself on that drone. She was like, yo, for my birthday, she bought me the $1,200.
Oh yeah, for your birthday.
Yeah, for my dead ass.
Yeah.
Dead ass. She bought it for my birthday, bro. She was like, you know what? You can use a better one than this one.
My friend,
Yeah.
comic friend in Dallas runs a drone company, and he asked us like, "Hey, if you guys get a chance, go ahead and leave a review for me. It really helps." So I was like, as a recently registered sex offender, it has been really great to use
Oh my
your drone company with my neighbor and their
Oh
children.
my God. It's horrible.
And he's like, "Gosh, and let me just clarify. I've never asked you that again." And I was like, "That was
Horrible,
the point.
bro.
That was the point."
That's crazy, bro.
I didn't actually put it on. I sent it to him as a treat. Like, "This look okay?" And he's like, "Never mind. Never. No, I'm not gonna do
You know
that."
what I can do? I'll do it myself. I
I'm
never.
like, I can't help it. If I see an opportunity where I think something's funny, you can't ask me to be professional.
Yeah, yeah.
The worst thing in the world.
He's like,
Oh,
oh, you want a fool to do it? I'll do it.
okay, so from what I can tell, there are two main types of writing new jokes or methods. There's people who will sit there at their computer, they'll write the whole thing out, they'll put in where their setup's going to be, the premise, and then they'll do their punchline, maybe add some text, and it's all written and ready to go. And when they go on stage, they do it verbatim, or they try and do it as close to what they had written down as possible, and then they adjust based on like how the audience reacts. Then there's other people that say, I'm going to talk about this. I know what I'm going to talk about. I know what the punchline is. We'll see how I got there. If it works, I'll use it again, maybe if I remember. Or, I'll get it down to where I really like it, and then that's the bit. That's just how it works. Which type are you? In between? Okay. So explain that process then.
Everything I see makes me think of a joke, right?
Yeah.
So, um, like, I really don't get up in the morning and then I sit down and go, let me look at a blank sheet of paper.
Right.
I'm already goofy.
Uh-huh.
I'll just wake up, and this is real life. This is my actual real life. Like even before stand-up comedy, that's why I was like, I just didn't know how to do the
Translate.
the
Yeah.
thing. I'm just always in, like, something has to be wrong with me for me not to wake up goofy.
Okay.
That is my spirit. I'm gonna wake up and like I'm already ready. Let me go see what this motherfuckers like. Like now it's like more like, hey, what let me see what any of the jokes that I already wrote, anything I said funny online is getting a response. And then I'll look at my notifications. It's like notifications are blowing up. I'm like, all right, and I start laughing at something I already wrote.
Mm.
And then that'll make me I might not even think of the same thought, but I start like I'm already there laughing. And then that's amber, that spark, boom, I'm gone. Now I'm ready.
Right.
So then
And you start running.
and then I start going. So I might either go back to that thing and make some jokes on that same thing. And then all that stuff ends up getting like run through within my head when I'm on stage.
Okay.
So when I get up now, like the truth is I'm always gonna do most of the time I'm doing like bits that I've written.
Mm-hmm.
But a good 25% of that set is going to be something new. There's going to be even twists and turns, even on jokes that I may have already done. And that is because of like, so there's more like, I do more like improvisational, like jazz, even though there's a song. But today we may not do that song the same way we did it yesterday.
Right.
And if you've noticed when you may have heard the same
I've heard
kind of
you,
joke,
yeah.
you may have heard that shit like 2 or 3 different ways, or even completely different directions, because maybe there were same elements of maybe a bit that just made sense to say for that moment that tied me into moving on with another idea.
Right.
So there's that. And again, when I'm on stage, I'm in the moment of saying something, and then when I'm in my zone, then again, the same joke will end up with so many more details and so much more colorful things happening, and I won't stick to that. So I won't stick to a script. I'll just let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I got a very, very tight set, they're like, hey, you got 7 minutes, then I'm gonna still play with this joke that I do.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to have most of the elements of what I say. There still might be something more than likely that just like I will never do the same 5 minutes or the same 7 minutes, the exact same. That
Right.
none of my sets is the same. No.
Okay.
Each one is always it's just a collage of bits that where I'm like, where am I doing? How much time I got?
It's just how
I'm like, what songs I think I feel like, what songs am I playing tonight?
Yeah.
Who we playing for? And most of my jokes, I can do them anywhere. It doesn't matter if you say Republican, Democrat, liberal, gay, straight, weirdos, all that stuff. Now, only thing that'll happen is based on which room I'm in, then I may get to incorporate things that I know that are very specific
Mhm.
for them, but my bits are for everybody. But does that make sense?
So, question about that. So when I've uh, the times that I've seen you, I've never seen you go after either side politically or make any like statements or anything like that. Is that intentional, or you just that's just not your thing?
That's very intentional because I'm not on nobody's side.
Yeah.
So like if I'm gonna do something, like I'll attack, uh, or like I'll undo something that I think people hear a lot.
Okay. What do you mean?
And it doesn't matter if it's Republicans that are saying it or Democrats. Like
I
I'll
gotcha.
through my stories, you'll hear something like I kind of like to unspeak what everyone else is speaking. So
Mhm.
like if everybody's like, oh, this fucking world's racist, then I might tell a bit about how I thought. I don't know if you ever heard me tell my bit about going tubing.
Mhm.
But basically, I'm gonna shrink it up. It's like a 5 to 7 minute bit. But basically, it's saying Steve walks up to me out of all the people that are going tubing, and he's like, "Hey, buddy, we think you should get a life jacket." And I'm like, "Oh, this you're asking me this because I'm black." And I was like, "But I know how to swim. I was in the Marine Corps." I tried to tell him, she's like, "I understand what you're saying, but 2 years ago we had a young black fella say he could swim too. We good folk around here, but he drowned."
Oh.
I said, "Oh, he not racist. He trying to save a life, or at least prevent a death." And I said, "You know what?" I was like, "If he was racist, he would have hidden the fucking life jackets when I showed up."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh man, can you imagine if I was so woke, I would have been like, oh my god, this son of a bitch want to give me a life jacket because I'm black," and I'd have been like having like the NAACP come down with
Yeah.
Al Sharpton, and we marching talking about black people got the right to drown in the Trafalgar River just like white people.
I see what you're saying.
So like I do a twist where I'm like, I ain't telling you that it don't exist. I'm telling you I did think the same thing that a normal idiot would think.
That that
That
joke's almost wholesome to me. That's
See what I'm
yeah,
saying? That,
like
exactly. So
yeah.
by the time I hit these topics, it ain't from a place of hate. And by the way, that did happen.
Of course it did.
It's much longer story, but it did happen. It did happen.
That is a hate crime. According to who's hearing
All
it.
right, bro. So like that's what I do. Like so like through the way that I'll tell a story or tell an instance, it's not about my views.
Mhm.
It's I don't have views. I have a lens of the world, and this is what my camera recorded.
Yeah.
And I mean that in my spirit. And you know when I'm joking. At least I like to think people know when I'm joking. Like when I say
You
something
mean when you're
so
on stage at a comedy show?
yeah, like this is a story. Like, yeah, that's a funny story. It could be serious, or it could be not serious. But
Yeah.
but like when I'm saying something that's just absolutely like, say like shockish.
Uh-huh.
When I'm doing that, I would like to think that people would think that they know I'm joking by the time I'm like, I don't even fucking mean it. I just say that to be funny. So if I attack something, then it would be because I was like, I really was only like in that instance,
Mhm.
I promise you, it was like, I only said that just to be an ass. I
Yeah.
only said it because it's funny. But when it comes to like Republicans and Democrats, or even like say like woke and anti-woke, like I got a joke where you may have heard me do the joke about my gay cousin.
I don't remember
So
that.
there you go.
Yeah.
Where I say shit, yo, I got a gay cousin. He's yeah. Every time I get around him, I start sounding like a whole racist white man in a hip hop concert, and it's weird because I see my accent change. You're like, oh, bitch, I'm like, hold on, buddy. Hold on, buddy. I'm trying to understand you, buddy. And then I just go through this whole bit, bro. So like, and it's because it is to say like, yo, I ain't gonna front. Like, yeah, I'm progressive, but yeah, I act weird too around a bunch of super gay dudes, even though I'm around them all the time. But it's not even just for me. It's almost like to let other people know. But then I do these bits in this joke, and I kind of use it as an excuse to to give people relief.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's what I want my comedy to do. If I have to say a thing, it's like I really rather give people relief. Like I ain't trying to be like George Carlin. The motherfuckers is mad as the fuck at the world.
Right.
All right. And I don't really hate the world because guess what? I don't just do stand-up comedy. I party MC. So guess what? I'm around people where they're fun as the fuck and they're very nice. They're drunk. Somebody can call them drunk idiot, but you know what? Drunk idiots are way more fun than sober idiots.
Hell yeah.
It is like it is not even in the same ballpark.
A great show or a great audience usually involves at least three really drunk people. Because they laugh the hardest and then everybody else laughs with
Yeah,
them.
they're clapping, they're making these clapping hands. I love
that
it.
shit.
Just having shirts and I love drunk people when I wear it on bourbon. Everybody's like, I hate these drunk motherfuckers. I'm like, are you insane? I was like, you've been around so you ever had a 9 to 5? Those people suck a lot of times. That's why I like when they come to the show and get drunk.
Oh yeah.
That way they're not themselves.
I can't work.
They
Man.
can be my favorite people.
When was the last time you had a 9 to 5 job, and how miserable was it for you? Was it miserable for you?
It wasn't miserable for me. It wasn't, honestly. I've done some miserable thing before as a 1 day job. But the last 9 to 5 I had was it was like basically like 2 or 3 at the same time, if that makes sense. So like one I was I worked for U-Haul in the office,
Oh no.
and this was in the really trashy ghetto side of town. So that was very interesting, actually. It wasn't miserable because I'm a goofball, bro. I was in the Marine Corps, like I told you. Like, you don't even understand what it's like to be. Well, yeah, you do. He was in the damn military. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how much it sucks to be somewhere where the weather sucks.
The weather's you hate
You're,
life.
you're hungry, all right, and you just gotta sit here. You know, like, I physically feel miserable. But
Dude, I had
but you know what? But you know what? This is what we asked for. United States Marine Corps. Ooh, yeah. And all of a sudden I'm singing and I'm motivated. So like by the time I got these jobs, I'm like, anyway, but it was that, and I worked as a ready door guy.
a
But
door guy for U-Haul?
no.
Oh,
I
as
was a guy at a nightclub
yeah.
that was behind a gay bar. So it was this gay bar in Atlanta, and behind it, it was this like alternative rock, punk, grunge nightclub where people that look like if you look at their ID or you look at their license, and you're like, it's funny because you look like Death Lord, Death Slayer right now, but right here you look like you work on computers all day. All right, go ahead. All right, I guess you're living out your fantasies. All right, I got
I
it.
always wondered like what happens like to the like the real goth people. Like what happens like one day they just grow out of it? Like they've been coming
A lot of them are grown. Look at their licenses, bro. You just saw them when they were out. You'd be amazed. They just like women put on makeup,
Yeah.
and then like
All of a sudden they come in without it.
that's what I got to see when I did that job, bro. And I used to actually be so entertained by this because I'd be like, you fucking nerd. Like I'd be looking at these people, I'm like, you fucking nerd. You're not even having spikes. I'm like, what the fuck happened here? This was taken 2 days ago.
Like there's got to be one instance at like an insurance company or something where guy's been coming as like Azathoth of the Death Slayer. Then all of a sudden he comes in and it's like, bro, what? It's just Kevin. No.
Yes, I know they do
you.
it,
I don't
bro.
even know you, man.
I know they do it.
Yeah.
I've seen the licenses, bro. You know what that license said? There's another guy in there.
Yeah.
And this is him. This is who pays their bills. This is who pays for that hairstyle and those $300 Rage Against the Machine boots.
This is who shows up on the rental application day. This isn't who lives here, but this is who applied for the rent.
This is who's gonna show up to court.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. This is who shows up to court. This is who shows up to custody battle.
Yes. Officer, this is just a costume. This is who I am. Everybody does that. This is who you are on that license. That's who you are.
All right, so a couple more quick questions. I want to wrap this up before it gets too late. So quickly, if you were gonna recommend one comedy special to watch, either your favorite growing up, just one that you like repeating, or just a comedy special that you think other people should see.
can I give him?
You can give multiple if you like.
I want to give him an era.
Okay.
Go back and listen to comedy from the 70s.
70s. Okay. Why would you say that?
And I would start with some of the Richard Pryor recordings where you'll hear him basically battle through a set.
Okay.
Like battle through the set.
What do you mean by that?
Like
Like
it's not
there's a rough spot and they have
there's
to
rough
build
spots and
themselves out of it.
he's going through it with the
I see what you're saying.
but he's talking. It sounds like a human in a room with people talking to them, and it's not the same as turn away quick. That sound like there's a little cat that comes through here sometimes. Like, give me some food. And since Ina likes him, I got to give him some food, even though she's not.
Yeah, of course she adopted it. You take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see me with the baby.
So listen to early Richard Pryor 70s stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then like really old stuff, even before that. But I would fool around in there. Red Fox.
Red Fox. I used to love Red.
Unpopular opinion. Bill Cosby.
Okay. Bill Cosby, for all his point, he was a great storyteller.
Yeah, it's insane. Insane.
Yeah. I mean,
insane. He can teach you how to tell a story.
Yeah. As much as you hate the guy, if you say he wasn't a great stand-up comic, you're lying. You're lying or
you
you're
can
wrong.
hate Napoleon, but you might want to study his battle tactics.
Exactly. Yeah. He took over everything.
We didn't like the Nazis, but we sure use a lot of their technology.
Yeah.
We didn't throw the.
We took their scientists.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. They're like, yeah, for science.
All right. So early Richard Pryor, Red Fox, early Bill Cosby. What's the next thing that you want to try and accomplish? Where are you going with your comedy?
This is where I'm at a crossroad, I think, where because it changed from the first time I got into it. When I first was getting into it, I thought I would instantly blow up. First to third time on stage, right?
Yeah.
Then when I understood it was like for most of us, it's a marathon. Okay. Some people get to sprint and they're sprinters, so they make it to the finish line much quicker.
Right.
When I started, people were still taking picture headshots. And you had to get someone to record your set. Okay.
Yeah. Different days.
It morphed from all of that world for me to going, you know what? I saw a lot of comedy and people that aren't famous, but I know they're professional comedians, and I was opening for a bunch of people that I was like, oh, you're a full-time comedian? Yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, you could be a full-time comedian and not be famous. I was like, I think I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
But in a more modern era, my desire to want to be really fucking rich, like stupid rich,
of course,
to be stupid rich, has led me to trying to figure out how to use the social medias and the recording stuff that I've been getting and all my other talents now, and putting that together to be like, all right, you know what? I think I might even try, say, America's Got Talent to like start doing things like that, to put my face out there as, hey, who's like
just exposure
to who I am and what I do. So, so that the paychecks get much bigger and much easier, and the seats are fuller instead of I'm not so sure how they're going to be that night. So then,
So one thing that I heard that I've kind of applied to what I've learned as a comic, take it for a huge grain of salt for how long I've been doing it. You need to play poker. You know poker.
I understand.
You understand. Even in professional poker leagues, 80% of the hand that wins wasn't the best hand that was available. It's about how they made it look to everybody else, how everybody else perceived it, and how they played it. I think I can easily apply that to comedy in the way that 80%, or the people that you know of, the people that the regular audience knows of. Doesn't mean they don't deserve to be there. Doesn't mean they didn't work hard to get their special. Doesn't mean that it's not a great special or they're a great comedian. But that there are so many comics that aren't there. They just didn't play their hand correctly.
Yes.
But they had. But if you looked at their hand, they fucking had it. They had it the whole time. They just didn't realize it. They didn't risk when they should have risked, or they risked too much at the wrong time, or they were bluffing. They got exposed now nobody fucking pays attention to their hands anymore. That's funny. And so what I'm saying is how do you navigate that? How do you play your best hand?
See, that's I guess what I'm
And that's
saying
like
is
this
is
day
that
and age of social media, it's a little bit different.
and I guess that's was my when I answered the question the way I did is prior it been the goal had shifted in different ways, and the last goal was to make a living as an entertainer, which I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it went from I don't think I just want to make a living. I think I actually want to be
You want
like
the
when I was a
exception.
kid.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I was like, you know what? I think I actually want to be famous at it.
Yeah.
I think I want to be famous at it.
Yeah.
How famous? Famous enough to when I'm asking for 100 G's or 250, it's not weird.
Right.
It's oh my God, we got a deal.
It's market rate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, I'm like, yeah, there's that kind of money out there, and there's that much abundance in people's worlds to where it's not even greedy as much as someone else may want to be happy just getting on stage.
Right.
Well,
You're way past that point.
yeah, because I do get on stage. I know how easy it is to get stage time in places. It's fun. I like it. I'm good at it. But I would like to walk onto the stage and the people are already chanting the name.
Right.
So then I think I would love to give that level of performance with some lights behind me. So when I'm doing my looping, there's a fucking light dude behind me going like boom, shooting up the things, and there's a huge screen that's matching what I'm doing,
Like you're
like basically like
coming out
like a
on the
rock star,
stage.
basically is what I'm saying.
100%.
And that's developed more the last few years,
Okay.
which is funny because I guess maybe the journey had been so much fun for me, and everything has been like, what do I feel like doing? So like even earlier on, everybody was like, you get to go to Cali, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can go to New York too. Yeah.
So, is there a special that you'd like to produce or have in the future?
Oh, there's a shit ton of specials, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always write down my.
You know exactly.
I-
You tell me if I'm right. You know exactly how your first special is gonna be.
There's a few different specials,
there's a
bro.
few,
Yeah, and basically it's like and when I write them down, like kind of like T-shirt ideas.
Yeah.
When I think of stand-up, sometimes I'll think of a bit, and other times I'll think of an entire special. Sort of like when somebody thinks of a movie,
Yeah.
and other times they think of a book, and other times they just think of, oh, this would be a funny essay. I don't know if someone else thinks that essay, or like if you're a writer, I'm guessing there would be different levels of degrees of what you would define a thought as.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sentence, it's a paragraph. Does a sentence does a thought lead to a paragraph?
Right.
Sentence, a chapter, a book, a series,
Just
yeah,
whatever you want, whatever you're going.
right. So when it comes to specials, dude, I've been writing down special ideas and then doing little pieces of material that would go with those specials. And of course, by the time I think of it as a special, not just a bit,
Yeah.
it's because like I saw like this thing that it's gonna take me 30 minutes to an hour to get through this point.
Right. And that's special.
Yeah, exactly. So
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my gosh, which one would it be first? Probably grab my phone and kind of flip through it right quick to find it. But
I would.
if I had to narrow it down, it would definitely be more along the lines of a comedy musical show.
Using your beatboxing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
For
would
the special.
fucking hope so, because that shit's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
You should have had the cat in the dryer. Yeah, was that?
So yeah,
Cracks me.
yeah.
All right, so last two questions. Last question for the interview. Where's Ina? Just kidding. Where can people follow you? Where can people find your performances at? CoreyMack.com?
CoreyMack.us.
CoreyMack.us.
.us, because
Okay.
.com is this nerdy dude that got Well, he's a computer dude, so of
Fuck
course,
that guy.
he
Yeah,
got
of course he
.com,
got
CoreyMack.com, and
Yeah.
then you got to spell it right, CoreyMack, because there's also Corey Mack, the female Canadian comedian.
Okay. Is she good?
I have never seen her stand up, but we are both Facebook friends.
There you go. You
We've
guys
been
should do a
talking
show
about,
together.
we've been talking about,
Hell
I
yeah.
told her I want to do a stand up tour with her called The Real Corey Mack Please Stand Up
You guys,
Comedy Tour.
right?
Yeah.
You guys,
Because we are not the same. We are absolutely not the same.
you guys just won't never sit the fuck down. Any of that shit. All right, and then what's your next show? I know that you're headlining Club 27's first
Oh, yeah.
comedy show. Yeah,
First-
for comedy club opening up in Pensacola.
That's
February.
kind of dope. Headlining the first comedy.
Yeah, that's a
club
big. That's
opening.
I,
Yeah.
I would be fucking.
Yeah. It's
February
a super honor.
6th, 7:30.
Put the date
I'll make sure I
Right.
get it in post. Yeah,
Like-
right here.
right there. Right there.
Right there. This is
Right
the
there.
date.
The date.
Go see it. There's a lot of other funny comics. Olivia, Delicia, Carson,
Yeah,
Dallas.
Dallas.
Opening. Yeah, it's gonna be a really good show.
Um,
And then you're also headlining for Panama City Comedy too, right? You can
Yeah.
find them on PanamaCityComedy.com.
I got some stuff in New Orleans this week. Tonight, actually, after this, I got to go pick up rentals so that I can head out to New Orleans. I'm emceeing tonight on Bourbon Street.
Yep.
Hosting a burlesque show tomorrow night. Doing stand-up comedy Wednesday night.
Okay.
Music also there because I got a musical comedian headlining, so I'm doing music also.
Nice.
And then back on Bourbon Thursday.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Always busy.
Yeah.
All right, and then last thing, what's your
What you do, man?
follow? Corey Mack on Facebook, any Instagram, social media, other things?
I think Corey Mack, the Gesture,
The Jester.
on Instagram, and just go Corey Mack, CoreyMack. You can find me.
He looks like
Follow
this.
me.
You'll see pictures. He looks like this.
I'm exactly like this.
Thank you so much. for
Thank you,
coming,
brother.
man.
That was awesome, dude.
You're great.
Good luck with this podcast, bro. Thank you for being your first, bro.
Oh my god. You were popping my podcast interview chair. You were so gentle. You were so understanding. You made me feel safe.